Joined by the NCERT Director, Professor Dinesh Prasad. So many thanks for speaking to us. जी, सबसे पहले ये बताइए कि ये जो रैशनलाइजेशन प्रोसेस है कोट एंड कोट, इसके बारे में, इसकी प्रक्रिया के बारे में बताइए, किस आधार पर सिलेबस रैशनलाइज किया जाता है। और दूसरी चीज़ ये बताइए कि एक चीज़ जो बार बार कही जा रही है कि कुछ पार्ट्स ऐसे हैं जो इरेलीवेंट हो जाते हैं एक पॉइंट के बाद, रिडंडेंट हो जाते हैं, तो किस आधार पर ये रैशनलाइजेशन होता है, किस आधार पर ये डिसाइड किया जाता है कि इस पार्ट को ओमिट कर दिया जाए और इस पार्ट को पढ़ाया जाए?
First of all, it is not rationalization of syllabus. Right. It is rationalization of textbooks. And as it has been clearly, mentioned, and we have given lot of clarification to media, print, electronic media, and to the country as a whole last year, that due to the pandemic, COVID-19, lot of learning loss and mental trauma our students underwent. To help the stressed students in this traumatic situation and then be responsible for the society and the nation, it was felt that the content load in textbooks must be reduced. Right. For that, NCERT, it is a professional standards that always experts are invited. Right. And experts do have their churning. They go by the textbooks and they feel that if some chapters are overlapping somewhere across the class or across the subjects, then they take cognizance of this, and in that way they suggested that yes, certain chapters or certain parts of the textbooks across the subjects may be just removed to minimize the content load on the students at the time of the pandemic. Right. So in order to that, the process was adopted, and it was totally a professional process. So two important points you are mentioning, very, very significant. One is that the rationalization of textbooks was done based on professional standards. That's a very important point. And secondly, during the COVID pandemic, to reduce content load for students, it was decided to rationalize the syllabus. Now, let me also ask you about what has really become a point of debate, a point of contention, and it's a job to ask that. One is that, of course, the chapters on Mughals. That's one part of it. Of course, the NCERT has said that in class 8th, etc. also children are taught about Mughals, so why overlap it? The second point is that, when you look at the political science textbooks and the chapters that have been dropped, one is the chapter called Era of One-Party Dominance, which is about Congress rule in the early years of post-independence era. Then there's a chapter on rise of popular movements, which talks about socialist and communist parties. So, there is a sense that textbooks are being rewritten to suit a particular ideology. No. There's a sense. Now, as a professional, as an education, as an educational expert, what do you have to say about that? That are textbooks being written to suit one particular ideology? No, not at all. This is totally, fake and baseless argument. And why to see the political science and history books only? Why not other books? Right. Why not geography? Why not economics? Why not science books, mathematics books? Why not? Why not? Why only? It means the debate, is being triggered. I don't know why. And this time, it is not any logic to rake this debate again. Last year, for 3 months, NCERT given inch by inch details of the process and of the removed content. Right. Lot of debate was generated last year also. And for 3 months, we met each and every electronic and print media group, and we just justified our stand, justified and clarified our stand, and the nation was convinced about that. Right. Yes, it was not any bias, nothing bias. Right. So that's a very important point, that there's no bias in this particular exercise. And the other, so you're saying that NCERT and all the researchers involved in NCERT do not have any sense that, okay, students should not study Mughal history. Students should study Mughal history, but it should not overlap is what it is. Yes, and not scholars at NCERT, scholars across the country. We invite the professional scholars from different universities, different schools. It is not that one NCERT people do this. NCERT people facilitate. It is a, national council. So we invite scholars from across the nation, across the universities. So there is no question of suiting to one group or not suiting to another group. It is the assumption of the certain people. I don't know why, and this is totally baseless. We NCERT don't go by this. NCERT go by its own stand, and we had amply clarified that last year also.
And you don't want to...
Lot of print media reports are there, and those who want to see, they can go in their own archives and find out what the answer NCERT given last year.
Right. So it's not as if you don't want one part of any subject not to be taught. It's just a part of the evolution process.
Yes. It is a rational. That's why we call it rationalization. So rationalization means rationale has been used. It is totally logical. Whatever has been done and by the professionals, that has been carried forward by NCERT. Nothing else than that.
Right.
I don't have to say anything.
So very quickly, if you could give me 2-3 points as to what these, you talked about certain basis based on which certain subjects. So if you can just talk about certain points as to on what basis.
No, I have already given you the basis. The basis is that if something overlapping is there across the classes or across the subjects, that is the major part. Another thing is that to reduce the content load, at that time, particularly when the COVID was there, so we should not be selfish enough to impose our, curriculum on the students at that time and burden them. At that time, it was felt that how to help them. So in that process, it was felt that this way we can reduce the content load of the textbooks and help the students to come out of this traumatic situation, and that helped the students a lot also.
Right. Last question. So this particular, these revised textbooks will be studied in this particular academic year as well, and when are we going to undertake another rationalization exercise?
No, these were studied last year also. When 2022-23, at that academic session also these books were read as per the errata. And this time also they are being studied. But now NCF, our NEP is on move. And National Curriculum Framework for School Education is, almost, on...
it's ready to...
It's almost ready to be made public.
Right.
So whenever it is ready, then NCERT moves further for developing the syllabi and textbooks. The different committees are constituted for that purpose. Experts are invited, and they, in alignment with the NEP, NCF, they prepare the syllabus and the textbooks, and that process will be completed within time frame as mandated by NEP 2020 itself. So the rationalization process, as and when felt necessary, that do takes place, and it is not only in NCERT. Universities also, they have their board of studies. If people who are in this debate, they must go by the universities. Every year they have the board of studies. What the board of studies do? They revise their syllabus, they revise their textbooks. The universities also adopt this. But NCERT is a national body, so naturally people have right to know. We are not denying that. It is our duty to provide the standard information as per the provision that we are doing. But all the universities across the country, across the globe, they go by this process of revising the syllabus and textbooks.
Many thanks, sir, for speaking to us. So 2 important points. One is that this revision is part of evolution. It's necessary, is what the NCERT director says. And the other point, very crucial, is that there's no bias that is involved as far as this rationalization process is concerned.